to my channel and welcome back to all of my subscribers. My name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master, spiritual coach, and an intuitive tarot card reader. And through the work I'm doing here on YouTube, as well as Instagram, TikTok, and my own website, odessamal.com, I deliver messages to you that will help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. So today I'm looking into your overall style. I'm figuring out exactly what makes you guys stylish, and this is going to cover all the bases. So I'm going to be looking at your personal style in terms of your aesthetic, like your clothing, your, makeup, hair, all of that stuff. But I'm also going to be looking at like how you decorate your home or what your aesthetic is or your branding for your social media, your business. It's like how you express yourself aesthetically overall. So I have 3 piles for you guys to select from. Pile number 1 is partnered with the pink peony. Flowers are a symbol of blossoming and growth. And pile number 2 is partnered with this butterfly, which is a symbol of seeing things from a higher perspective and transformation. And then pile number 3 is partnered with the strawberry calcite. And pink crystals in general partner with the heart chakra. So they're a symbol of love. And calcites are crystals that are known to amplify joy and happiness. So I'm going to give you guys a close-up of the cards and the items in just a second, and I will see you at your pile. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome back. So you picked the pink peony. And these cards are going to let me know what makes you so stylish. So let's see what you've got. You have Marlene Dietrich, George Clooney, the sea serpent, the horse, Billie Holiday, and Lead Belly. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So there are a couple of things that are coming forward right away. First off is there is sort of this duality that I'm seeing in the cards where I think that you sort of blend two aesthetics together. It may be a situation where you're blending like masculine and feminine, or like traditionally labeled masculine and feminine aesthetics or fashions together. And so you're wearing some menswear and you're wearing it with traditionally ladies wear, and you're doing something fresh and new. But you may also be blending different time periods together. So this could be for your actual fashion. This could also be for your home aesthetics. This could be for your branding. So for example, you might like to have a lot of vintage around you. You might be a vintage collector and you're collecting pieces from different time periods. Or your clothing, you're taking pieces from the past that have sort of like re-emerged, right? Like 90s and like the millennial fashion is now coming back, like things that were like Y2K, early aughts is coming back. So you may be taking those pieces that are like legit vintage, but because it sort of like fits with the trends now, you're blending it with modern stuff as well and like sort of bringing it back to life. You may also really like to sort of like switch up your style a lot, because I get that with the sea serpent because it's a symbol of cycles. You may be sort of like dressing based on your mood, right? Because water is associated with empathy and the emotions. So you may like look very different from day to day, and you're not necessarily like just picking one particular aesthetic or look for yourself. Like it's very soulful, and I get that energy from Lead Belly and Billie Holiday, because these two musicians Their music was very soulful. So you express yourself from the heart, you know, like I don't get the energy that you're necessarily following trends, like sort of across the board. Like you're very wild and free, like the horse, the stallion. You, I think, if anything, may be setting trends. I definitely get that from Marlene Dietrich, and also that blending of masculine and feminine, because she did that a lot. There's very, very like powerful photos of her wearing a men's tuxedo. She would wear pants all the time when some of her contemporaries never did that. So you may be doing things like that, and it may not have anything to do with like traditional masculine versus feminine. It could be you're blending, like I was saying before, different aesthetics. So maybe you're taking things that are sort of traditionally evening wear or like really fancy clothing, and you're dressing it for daytime, you know? And that's a real art. Like that isn't something that everyone is really successful at. So you might have some of these gifts sort of intuitively come to you. And I would say that you're most likely a mature soul, or maybe possibly an old soul, because typically, and you may not even resonate with the idea of reincarnation, but from my perspective, I do believe in reincarnation, so this is the message that's coming forward. That typically people who have lived more lives in different time periods will really gravitate towards the art forms or the fashion that was popular within those time periods. And as a result of sort of developing skill sets of grooming and fashion and design from different time periods, you have a natural aptitude for it now. So that's definitely coming forward. You may also like to, the energy I'm getting is that you may like to sort of express yourself with your clothing, like it's part of sort of like your art form, right? Like your clothing, and because all of these people being performers is really standing out to me, and sort of like being real trailblazers in their own right, and really standing out, especially with Billie Holiday, Marlene Dietrich, that leading lady kind of energy. I mean, George Clooney was a leading man. I'm getting this sense that there might be some drama with your clothing, and it might not have anything to do with the clothing being flamboyant. It might just be that you have just like such a skilled eye that you are really able to dress for your body type, or you know how to like put things together, like I said, to like create interesting shapes, or like you just really lean into like classic tailoring. There's something that makes you seem very sophisticated and very put together, but also very, very original. And I definitely get that you understand about branding, for sure. You may, like I said before, be switching and sort of changing that up. Like I kind of get the energy that you get bored of things. And it's not that you don't love the things that you were possibly like wearing before, or the way you styled your house before, or your logo, or whatever it is. You like all of the things that you've already done, but it's kind of like this constant craving to like move forward and adapt and change and try new things. And like I said, I think you're very experimental. Now, you may really like Art Deco is strongly coming forward. And if you're not necessarily familiar with Art Deco, think the Chrysler Building. That is an Art Deco design where it's very industrial, a lot of metal, a lot of sharp, rigid lines, very geometric. And maybe that's more for your home, or maybe your branding, your logo. I definitely am getting a lot of like a sense of really crisp lines, because I mean, out of the people that are on these cards, there's elements that remind me of the Art Deco or that classic silhouette a lot. I mean, we've got Billie Holiday here, and the microphone that she is singing into is an Art Deco design. Then you've got Marlene Dietrich, and the wallpaper behind her is definitely reminiscent of Art Deco wallpaper. I mean, it's got a panther and a tiger on it, but I know that wallpaper, and I know when it was designed. And then you've got George Clooney and Leadbelly wearing these suits with sort of like the wide lapel. And so I definitely feel like that might stand out for you. You may have short hair, or you might like to wear your hair up a lot. You might really like sort of like clean makeup as well if you wear makeup. And if you don't wear any makeup at all, I do think that you really take care of your skin and you have like a skincare routine. I get the energy too that as in terms of like beauty and grooming, that like there is a structure or routine. Like there's certain things that you like to do. There's certain products that you really, really like, and you really try and care for yourself. I just heard aging gracefully. So I also get this sense that for many of you, you are naturally attractive people and you're leaning into your natural beauty at every stage of your life. Now, for some of you, you're still pretty young, and this is more like a future forecast that this is going to be your attitude going forward, which is so beautiful. Because everyone is beautiful, right? It's all a matter of how you put yourself together, really, right? It's just branding, really. Beauty is just branding. So I do get the sense that you are very body positive, also just came forward. So you're body positive, you are inclusive is the word that's coming forward. You are accepting of your own natural beauty, and as a result of that, you also accept others. And I think you like to see how other people style things and put things together. So you may have a lot of accounts that you follow, especially for home decor is coming forward. Like you might, or even like just branding, like graphics. I do this all the time. I love looking at other people's branding designs, like for packaging. Like I don't even work in fashion anymore, but I just love seeing like students work and like what they're designing in art school, like different branding ideas. And you might have something like that. It might not have anything to do with like branding. And when I say branding, I'm talking about like students in school coming up with packaging for things and like, you know, hang tags. And hang tag is like the tag that hangs off of the clothing. You know, I just still, even though I don't work in fashion anymore, I just love it so much, and I love seeing the innovation. So there might be something like that that you're following or you're watching. For you, it might be home decor, or it might be a particular like hobby that you really like crocheting or knitting or rug punching. Something like that. I get the sense that you follow creative people, you follow creative accounts, and even if the account that you're following has nothing to do with something that applies to your life, you still get inspiration from it, right? It's like getting inspiration from a painter, and you're looking at their work, but it's the way that they put the colors together that maybe inspires your own home aesthetic or your clothing choices, things like that. So I want to get a couple of cards that are going to tell me a little bit about how you personally style yourself. Like, what is your fashion style? What's so amazing about your personal style? What can you tell me about pile number 1? Fashion. Okay, let's see. All right, so you got the 10 of Cups, the 9 of Wands, and the 8 of Swords. That's really interesting. So, I mean, the 8 of Swords is talking about being restricted in some way. So you might like to wear really fitted clothing. You might even like to wear things that like are sort of like create shapes or lines in your body. So you might like to wear like a harness, you know, like I've seen some people do some amazing things, and it's a very particular aesthetic, but like wearing a gorgeous cotton dress and then like have a leather sort of vested harness. Or you like to wear a lot of like gold chains, or like there's jewelry. There's something about there being like lines, maybe like you like to belt things. Or like I said before, you just like to wear very fitted and structured clothing. You definitely have an energy with your aesthetic that kind of makes people think that you're a little guarded. I guess with the 9 of Wands, the wounded warrior, like they worry that it's kind of like you're out of their league is the energy that I'm getting, that they're they're intimidated by you. They're worried that you won't want to talk to them or give them the time of day because you're just like, you look so classy is the energy I'm getting. And this might not be something that you necessarily embody on an everyday basis. You might not be dressing up to the nines every single day, but when you do, people like, if you probably have had situations where like when you go out, maybe you're going out with friends and you're like looking to meet people. You're going out to a bar, you're going out to a club, or you're going to a party and nobody talks to you. And they're intimidated by you. But I think that they also find you to be like really inclusive, like I was saying before, because you got the 10 of Cups. So your fashion is sort of like a mix of different things. Like your beauty is a mix of different things. So maybe you've traveled a lot, or you have a mixed background, like within your family there's a lot of different heritage sort of like at play that you are sort of working with. So you mix and blend a whole bunch of different cultural pieces, or you are mixing and blending like sort of your heritage with maybe the country that you're currently living in. I'm not sure, but there's definitely like you're taking from a lot of different positive sources, you know, like this is of true like blending of different aesthetics so that it honors all of them. And for some of you, like I was saying before, this might have more to do with your home, where like maybe you're picking up pieces on your travels, and so you have this really eclectic look. So I would like to find out a little about your like home aesthetic. Okay, I was asking for 3 cards, and then I was still shuffling, and they were like, we already gave you 3 cards, and they did. So you got the 8 of Wands, the 2 of Swords, and the Chariot. Yeah, there's a lot of travel here. You're definitely people that have traveled, and maybe that is traveling outside of the country and you're picking pieces up and you're bringing it home for you, like artwork or cool ceramics. But this could also be like I was picking up before, where you're vintage people and you're going on the hunt. There is definitely something about you traveling and picking up pieces, making discerning decisions. Like you are really seeing, I also get the sense that you see the beauty where maybe other people don't. So that definitely feels like thrifter vibes, because if you're not a thrifter, you might go into like a secondhand shop and you look at the stuff that's on the shelf and it's all dirty, and you know, it's not in its best. It's not at its best. And you can't necessarily, or people that don't thrift can't necessarily see the potential. but I get the sense that you can, you can see past the dirt, wash it, put it with the right things, and it has a whole new life to it. Beautiful. Okay, and then we'll get 2 cards on maybe like your branding or like your aesthetic and your style, on how you sort of like sell yourself. Okay, give me 3. So you got Temperance, 9 of Pentacles, and then you also got the Knave of Pentacles in reverse, but I really don't want to take reversals in this reading. So what I'm sensing here is that you have very balanced aesthetic. Like I was saying before, you really know how to put pieces together so it looks right on you, or you know how to balance color, you know how to balance proportion and shape. So this might just be like you have a beautiful Instagram feed and you just know how to put things together, or maybe you're on TikTok and you just like know how to craft a video. There's something about your style when it comes to how you sort of like show yourself. Like maybe you have a gorgeous resume and you have a great website. There's something about how when you present yourself to other people, they really take you seriously. You really have balanced aesthetic. But at the same time, I feel like you have sort of a little element of playfulness. Maybe this is for the people that once they get to know you or they talk to you, right? Because there was that energy before where people are intimidated by you, but I feel like those are people that have never actually spoken to you. These are people that are just observing you that are intimidated. But those that know you or interact with you, they see the playfulness in you. Now, maybe you have little playful elements to your branding, right? You might have a beautiful website, but then there's like a pop-up that sort of has like a joke incorporated in it. Like you take yourself seriously, and your energy and your branding is classic. And I just got the word architectural, which would also fit back with that Art Deco energy I was picking up on as well. But you also have a sense of humor about it. Like you don't take yourself too seriously. You take yourself just seriously just enough. And 9 of Pentacles, like luxury. There's like a strong sense of playful luxury with balanced energy. It could be divine masculine, divine feminine energy blended in together, like I was picking up with before, because you've got also 2 men and 2 women in this reading. All right, amazing. So I want to just get a couple final cards and find out, what advice does Spirit have for you in terms of your style aesthetic? What do they think you should do next? Okay. So you got mermaid tresses, emotional clarity. So I would say that you're being encouraged to lean even more into your gut feelings when it comes to your style and aesthetic. Maybe even more into being sort of emotional and raw with how you present yourself. You also got ghost fungus, strange spirits, and morning glory, darkness in light and affection. Okay, so there is something inside you that is a little bit weird, a little bit quirky, a little bit different that you haven't been showing the world. You have a very clean aesthetic, whatever you're doing, it's very polished, and people definitely take you seriously. They definitely see that you have a sense of humor, right? But incorporate that a little bit more into your physical aesthetic, right? Take things that are maybe a little bit out there and start experimenting and playing with them, whether that is, in your home, like having something that has a sense of humor, like a bath mat or welcome mat that has a funny joke on it, or something that's just comical, or whether that is in your closet. I'm really getting that. There's lots of really fun fashion out there that is really strange and different, but it feels to me like you are drawn to that stuff, but you have this look and you're sort of holding yourself back from really showing everything that you are. But I feel like that's the key. Like, being our authentic self is truly the key to really be successful. If you think you're successful now and people respect you now, just wait until you unlock that door and you allow the strangeness or the compassion or the emotional side of yourself to let loose. You're afraid that maybe people will react badly. And I think you're going to be shocked at how positive the response is. So something to think about. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. This one was so interesting. I really love doing this. If you did like it, then please let me know. Comment, like, share, all of that stuff means so much to me. And if anyone's interested in working with me one-on-one, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my booking and services are available there. I do tarot card readings, live and recorded, spiritual coaching, Reiki, past life readings, and I can channel messages from your spirit guides. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 2, welcome back. So you picked the butterfly, and these cards are gonna let me know what makes you so stylish. Let's find out. You've got Marie Antoinette, Cleopatra, the gazelle, the eagle, and Freddie Mercury along with Debbie Harry. So these last two cards are spades, which is the equivalent of the sword suit in tarot. So you communicate a lot about yourself through your personal style. So this could be through your clothing, it could be how you style your home, it could be how you prepare a meal, it could be what your office looks like, or what your website, your business card, anything that is aesthetic, that is associated with you, has a message about who you are. And I think that you really think about your style. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that every single moment of your day and every day you're thinking about style and you're crafting a look. But when it's important, you definitely put effort into it and you want it to be reflective of who you are. I think there's times when you are very flamboyant, like Marie Antoinette and Cleopatra, very theatrical. This is more energy. You may have a maximalist aesthetic, which is like bold colors, a lot, excuse me, a lot of pattern and layering and possibly pulling things from different time periods. Like I said, it's a more is more attitude, and it's a lot about having fun and your aesthetic having a lot of playfulness and life to it. Whereas the Debbie Harry, Freddie Mercury aesthetic is a little more stripped down, whereas this is can come across as very luxurious. This is a little more like punk. It's more rock and roll, right? So jeans, t-shirts, maybe a leather jacket, that kind of aesthetic. If this was in your home, it would be like more of an industrial aesthetic, where maybe you have always wanted to live in like in a loft or in an old like sort of warehouse industrial style condo, that kind of energy. maybe a little grittier. This aesthetic is maybe like neon signs, and for some reason my guides keep saying to me barn boards. So rougher finishings. Whereas this is much more like gilded and ornate, and like I said before, it can be very playful. It doesn't necessarily even have to make sense, because I'm seeing images of the Mad Hatter in my mind. You know, like it's just like carefree and fun and playful, but luxurious and decadent for sure. Now, this might be a situation where you are both of these aesthetics simultaneously. So it depends on the day. Like when you're going to dress up or there's an occasion, you go all out, and then the rest of the time you're very like stripped down or streamlined or casual, a little like more punk, like I was saying. But it could also mean that one of these aesthetics applies to one area of your life and one of these aesthetics applies to another. So you might have like a maximalist home, but on a day-to-day basis, you like to wear jeans and a t-shirt and like a leather jacket, like I said. It could be the opposite of that, or maybe because I was also incorporating website design or your marketing or your branding, maybe you have a really over-the-top aesthetic when it comes to your branding, or you have a really interesting feed on Instagram, but in general in your life, you're a little more on the casual side. That is really intensified by the gazelle and the eagle, because they sort of like come from two different worlds, right? The gazelle being a land mammal and the bird being able to fly, so being, you know, closer in relation to the air element, being able to see things from a higher perspective. That is interesting too, because now that I've said that, that makes me think that I think you are a great observer, because gazelles are also have keen eyes. If you watch documentaries with gazelles, they're constantly watching and listening, right? They're looking for predators and they move really fast. So you might be a person who is like constantly watching what's going on aesthetically. You're watching how people are putting things together, or maybe you are hunting for certain things. Like you might really like to curate your closet or curate your home, and you're searching for different things or how to put things together. And when you find the right thing, you immediately take action, right? Like that fast-paced energy of the gazelle. You're observing and you're taking action, which I really love. Now, there's also a strong element of feathers coming out, because of course we've got the eagle with the feathers there, but the throne that Cleopatra is sitting on also is two golden wings, and Marie Antoinette has beautiful purple feathers in her hat. So you might like to look, like I was saying before, you might like to incorporate sort of like over the top fashion pieces or elements. Like you might wear feathers, and it might be part of like a vintage aesthetic. Like a lot of vintage hats have feathered elements on them. It doesn't necessarily mean like it's a big feather. It could just be like a fedora with like a little feather in the side. But this might also have a reference to some sort of like cultural pieces that you're wearing, because there's plenty of gorgeous like beadwork and different like cultural fashionable pieces or decor that have feather elements in them. So that might be part of your aesthetic and your look as well. Ooh, I love this. This is so, so cool. You might like to wear hats, or there's something about like maybe even wearing wigs or something, like, because both Cleopatra and Marie Antoinette are both wearing wigs, and they're also both wearing hats. Then of course the gazelle has these gorgeous horns, which also makes me think about head adornment. So that might speak to you. You may also really like animal print, you know, and that might not be something that you necessarily incorporate into your clothing, but it might be something that you've incorporated into your home, or there's animal motifs in some way in your home. Cool, I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna get some more cards about what your personal like fashion style is. Okay, what can you tell me about pile number 2's fashion style? Okay. And I'm not taking any reversals in this reading. Oh my God. Some of these cards came out in pile 1 too. Okay, so you got the you got the 9 of Wands, and I almost said 5 of Wands. So first off, the 9 of Wands to me makes me feel like you are someone that others are intimidated by. When you are, you know, in your element and you're really expressing yourself authentically, possibly when you're in this energy, you're very intimidating to others and they sort of admire you from afar. And there is an element here where people feel like they can't do what you can do. You got the 4 of Cups, but I also wanted to say the 5 of Wands, which I associate with conflict. So it's like they are a little bit conflicted about whether they like your style or whether they don't, or, you know, feeling a little envious that they can't necessarily present themselves the way that you do. And I think that you're really firm in your personal style. Like, if somebody says to you that they don't like what you're wearing or the way you've styled something or you've designed something, you won't be fazed by that, because you're making these decisions based on your heart energy, the King of Cups. You've listened to your intuition and you fully express yourself from that place. And it's not about trends for you. It's about personal expression and having fun. And you don't want to be stuck in a box. You don't want to have to play by certain rules. You want to be able to mix things up and, you know, be able to change directions too. I'm getting that energy from the gazelle, because once again, one of their strongest skills is their ability to run at high speeds, right? And they are able to switch directions really, really rapidly. And you are, with the 4 of Cups, you're really in control of, you know, how you want to present yourself and like what your look is. And I think you've honed it over a period of time. I think, like I was saying before, you're loose, you're open about what you're going to wear. You mix it up, but you are still very experimental and you're open to trying new things and you're leading with the heart. I think it's almost like you have a certain sort of framework that you build off of, that you know what works for you. Because I keep seeing Diane Keaton in my mind. And for those of you who don't know who Diane Keaton is, she is an actress who did a lot of work with like Woody Allen, and she is sort of known for her menswear style. And so she kind of has a uniform where she has certain things that like really suit her, like an oversized men's blazer and like a hat, and she wears oversized glasses, and it's her look, and she's been wearing that since the 1970s. She always keeps it fresh because she modernizes it every single season, but it's still like there's that core look that is authentically her. Now, you may not have something so rigid as that, but that's kind of the energy that I'm getting from you, that like, you know what works for you, you know what you like, you are not going to compromise on that, you listen to your heart, you express yourself authentically, and you have like a lot of fun, and you are playful when it comes to like your actual aesthetic. And if it's not clothing, it could be you playing with your hair and you're switching your hair up all the time, or you're playing with your makeup too, because I definitely get dramatic makeup. I mean, not necessarily for all of you, but Cleopatra and Marie Antoinette, it's bold makeup. Marie Antoinette, definitely they had that look of trying to look youthful, but I mean the cosmetics were not like the same as they are now. So even when they were trying to look natural, I think that it was over the top. If you look at documentaries versus like romanticized films like the Sofia Coppola Marie Antoinette film, it's totally different. But you may have more of a natural face. I mean, whatever you are doing in terms of makeup or no makeup, you are being authentic. So I want to find out about your personal style in terms of your home aesthetic. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so you got the Four of Swords, the Seven of Swords, and Judgment. So you have a very relaxed personal style. I do get the sense that there has been times in your life, as far as like how you decorate your home, where you felt like you needed to sort of keep up with trends, or maybe you followed trends and you released that. It was like you had an epiphany or an awakening that you just want to have a home that reflects you and makes you feel relaxed and comfortable. And so you might have had a dramatic shift in terms of your aesthetic at home. I keep feeling like it's sort of minimalist, like it's kind of different than what I think you're doing in terms of your fashion. So going back to the beginning of the reading when I was saying there's duality, or like there's a contrast there. So your fashion style might be very flamboyant, and then this like punk sort of industrial look is how you want things to be at home, or it could be the reverse of that, because the Marie Antoinette is a lot about luxury and abundance and fabrics and being cozy and comfortable. So it'll be different for each of you, but I definitely get this strong sense of a cleanness. Like I keep feeling like I'm in a spa. Like I have that sense of like the air around me. Like you may want a home that's a lot of like fresh white linens and like beautiful flowers and everything to just sort of feel tranquil and spa-like. You may also really love plants. You may have tons of plants in your home. You might find that it could be sort of like a jungle type aesthetic where it's mainly sort of like very natural tones and wood, but it's like the plants that really pop. Or it could be something very clean, like you might be a person that really loves having orchids around, which is more like spa energy. But the plants are really standing out for me in these cards. All of these cards have plants, but for some reason that's really standing out in these cards. Ooh, cool, interesting, I love that. So I want to get some cards that are going to tell me a little bit about sort of your branding. So this is, if you have a business, how did you brand your business? What is that aesthetic like? Or your social media, like how you present yourself to other people. It could be you have your own website just for like, you know, your resume. What does that, all of that look like? Oh, you've got a ton of cards. Okay. Ooh, interesting. So you got the Knave of Cups, the Emperor, the World, you got the King of Wands, and the Magician. So I definitely get the sense that you have a strong social media presence, or you have a website, or you have your own business. The Emperor is an entrepreneur. And so is the King of Wands. So you've definitely had to do some branding. And I think that you actually created it yourself. Like your branding is a reflection of you and your aesthetic. With the Magician, like you are crafting this yourself. Now, it may be a matter of you actually hiring someone to do the website, but you told them exactly what you wanted it to look like. You knew exactly what you were going for. And with the world, I really feel like you have had a lot of experience with aesthetics. So you might have worked in fashion or graphic design or marketing, or you worked in hair, makeup, wardrobe. Like there's definitely something to do with like aesthetics and design that relates back to you. You connect with that and you've learned a lot. Maybe you went to school for art or design and you learned a lot from that, and now you're applying that. This could also be past life energy. I know not all of you believe in past lives, but we bring a lot of skills from our past lives into our current life. And I definitely feel like you likely have brought some of that forward with you. That may be also why you gravitate towards possibly historical fashion or this maximalist aesthetic. Even if it's not as intense as the maximalist that I'm talking about, and if you don't know what that is, look it up. There's it's a huge trend right now. There's a million different accounts on Instagram and TikTok that can explain to you what that looks like. But even if it's not as extreme as maximalist, I do feel like there is something that you really gravitate towards that is like sort of decadent. And the Knave of Cups, also, this card came out in pile number 1. So, some of you might be watching this through, but this is the energy of being playful and allowing your intuition to guide you and allow you to, not be so serious about how you present yourself professionally. So maybe you have a quirky aesthetic online, or there is something about you that just makes people smile and laugh. It could be an interesting use of color. It could be literally like text that is sort of funny and jokey, or your graphic is sort of funny and jokey, but like not in a just like a goofy way. It's smart, it's intelligent. You're just making it more approachable to people is the energy that I get. And I also get the sense that you do like to switch things up when it comes to your how you present yourself to the world in terms of like your business or your branding. I think that you switch things up a lot because I think that you may even get tired of things, or you're just always tweaking and sort of, I'm like that too. Like constantly changing things on my website, just like minor little changes that other people probably don't even notice. So I'd like to get some advice from Spirit to find out like how you can sort of like push this further. Like what advice do they have for you? Okay, what advice do you have for pile number 2? Okay. You got Cherry Blossom, fleeting things, appreciate the moment. So this definitely feels to me like it's sort of picking up on that energy of wanting to shift and change and move things and adjust things. So you might be a person that likes to move the furniture around in their house all the time, or you're constantly reorganizing your closet, or you're like updating and changing your hair all the time. It's like you dye your hair pink, and then like a week later you're like, what would it look like if I like cut it all off? You know, and like, what if I shave my head? Like, it feels to me like you, and it might not be that extreme, but like you can get bored with things really easily, and you're being encouraged to sort of slow things down a little bit, because I think that all of this is sort of like leading to something, is the energy I'm getting. Like, if you can sit with what you've already created a little bit longer, the manifestations that will come to you will be stronger and better, because you got shamrock, good luck, and you got daffodil, beginnings and rebirth. So there is something that could be very, very positive that's coming through to you. This could be a situation where it's like, if you say you have your own blog, or you have your own like feed on Instagram that's really successful, if you're switching things up a lot, it might feel really gratifying for you, but it may also sort of like close some doors for you, because the universe is trying to align you with opportunities, right? So that you can express yourself more. So say you're going down one avenue, everything is maximalist. Everyone is starting to really like respond to this, and then, you know, maybe there is a magazine, or there's another blog, or there's another creator that sees you and starts watching you and is interested in working with you, but you get bored and you're like, I'm going to be all industrial now. And then you switch the content, and then you sort of miss out on that opportunity. You didn't know it was there, but that's the energy I'm getting. Like, stick with things a little bit longer. By no means are they saying that you should always stick with the same thing, because you got bladderwort. Small endings cannot be avoided. In love lies bleeding, hopeless, lost causes. So there's definitely going to be changes that come into your life and allow you to express every aspect of yourself. You're not going to have to just stick with one thing. But it could also save you a lot of heartache, because I think that maybe you start moving forward with a creative idea before you've really thought it through. And then sometimes things don't work out, right? Like the example I gave before, like you have this idea of, you know, shaving your head and what it's going to look like. Once that hair is cut off, there's no going back, right? Now, once again, it might not be that extreme, but just take your time with things, because I think ultimately it's going to give you better rewards. And I do feel like you are one to watch, that the universe is trying to align you with some opportunity, but if you keep like sort of cycling so quickly, you won't be able to align with it, right? So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. This one was so fun. If you did, then let me know in the comments. Like, share this. That would always be very helpful to me. So more people can see my content. The more you guys help me, the more I can do this content, right? And if anyone is interested in working with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information are available there. I do tarot card readings live and recorded. I do spiritual coaching, Reiki, past life readings, and I can channel messages from your spirit guides. So once again, this is such a pleasure, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 3, welcome back. So you picked the strawberry calcite, and these cards are gonna let me know what makes you so stylish. Before I get into the cards, I just wanna reiterate what I said in the intro, that I'm gonna be looking at your fashion, your beauty, your interior design, like what your home looks like, as well as your personal branding. So this could be how you present yourself online. It could also have something to do with your own business, or if you have your own website. It's everything that represents you in terms of your style. So let's see what these cards say. You have Elizabeth Taylor, Oscar Wilde, Lord Byron, the bear, the cheetah, Stevie Wonder and Jimi Hendrix. Okay, so to start off with, I definitely get the energy that you like decoration, you like vibrant colors, you like pattern. There's a lot of really bold styles here, especially with Oscar Wilde and Lord Byron, as well as Jimi Hendrix. There is a very bright colored palette here, as well as elements of design that are extremely luxurious and ornate, a little bohemian. You know, there's like these three individuals were very artistic. And even Stevie Wonder, in this particular illustration of him, he has beads in his hair. So you might like to experiment with your clothing, sort of picking things from different places in the world, really mixing together really bold colors. There might be elements of your style that come from your own heritage. You may like to wear a lot of layers, or it could be that you just like to mix up your color palette so that you're possibly working with complementary colors, which is two colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. So when you place them together, they really pop. The colors look even more intense and brighter. You may like to wear scarves, because there's basically scarves or at least some like necktie in every one of these cards. So Stevie Wonder is wearing a bow tie. Then Jimi Hendrix has a beautiful red scarf. Then Oscar Wilde has a beautiful blue scarf. And then Lord Byron not only has a scarf around his waist, but he's also wearing a headscarf. So you may experiment with scarves, like I refer to it as scarf art, where you are using a scarf in lots of different ways. Maybe you're wearing it around your neck, maybe you're wearing it as a belt, maybe you're wearing it as a head wrap. And for some of you, you might do really elaborate folding, pleating, wrapping designs to really like create drama, because all of this just really feels dramatic. And then Elizabeth Taylor, although she is only in a slip in this particular image, she was all about drama and luxury, and she wore a lot of really flamboyant clothing, especially as she got older, actually. Lots of like glittery gowns with giant feather boas. And she's also known to wear a lot of diamonds. So you, like I was saying before, you really might like a lot of luxury. And I feel like you like to make a statement with the cheetah, you know, this bold print, the cheetah print that is so synonymous, obviously, with the animal it comes from, and it being this sign of authority and luxury, because the cheetah historically has been used to create garments for spiritual leaders or military leaders or people in positions of authority. And then the bear is also, spiritually speaking, a symbol of authority. So I feel like you use your dress, the way that you style yourself, to draw attention to yourself and really show your power. And like I said, I do feel like that many of you really like to make bold decisions with your clothing, but that might not be the case for all of you. There's also a through line here where I'm seeing men's tailoring. So you really might like even possibly wearing a traditional suit, because Richard Burton is in the background behind Elizabeth Taylor. He's wearing a traditional suit. So is Stevie Wonder. There's suiting elements in the Lord Byron, Jimi Hendrix, and Oscar Wilde cards as well. If it's not a suit, like a literal suit, that could be indicating that you have sort of a uniform, right? Like you have a certain look that you fall back on. And a lot of like style icons are like that, where they have kind of like one sort of like look that they fall back on or they go back to over and over and over again, but they reinvent it. So you may have like, you know, a style that you sort of curated that works for you, but you mix up the color or you mix up you know, the silhouette or the proportions of the pieces that you're wearing. Now, there's also something coming through with Elizabeth Taylor where there may be, you may be really wearing clean colors. Like for some of you, you're not really interested in the bright colors in terms of your clothing. You're more about a neutral palette, but you really lean into like the sharp tailoring and a lot of the details. Like it might be that you're wearing like a gorgeous beige sweater and a nice pair of like gray pants, but it's all about like really elaborate jewelry or accessories that really pop, and maybe they're like a pop of color, bold color. The other thing that I also see here is that it may be like a contrast. This kind of idea came out in one of the other files too, where you may dress in a really bold way, but you like sort of a clean aesthetic at home, or it could be the reverse, where you have a really clean personal style, but you have like a really bold, vibrant home. I definitely get the sense that you like sort of classic patterns, like William Morris is coming forward. I'm also getting like Art Nouveau. So William Morris was this designer, part of the, he's slightly before the Art Nouveau design aesthetic came in, but basically it's patterns that are sort of based off of floral motifs or the natural world. There's a lot of curves, a lot of imagery that sort of looks like plant life, but it might not be literally a plant or a flower. You can kind of see it with this Oscar Wilde card. So you might want to have those kind of soft shapes around you. Psychedelic patterns are really reminiscent of this. So you might be really bohemian, actually. Like, I don't know why I didn't say that before, but with Jimi Hendrix, Oscar Wilde, and Lord Byron, there's definitely a strong bohemian energy here. And I do feel like you're very artistic. So you may also like to hang out with other people that are very unique in their style. And you sort of like feed off of each other. You play off of each other, inspiring each other. Ooh, I love it. So let's get into this a little bit deeper. First, I want to start off with your fashion style. So let's get a couple of cards that'll tell me a little bit about your, oops, they are right. My guides are like, that's the wrong deck, and they are right. This is the deck I want to be using. So what can you tell me about pile number 3's fashion style? Okay. All right, so you got the 2 of Cups, Justice, the 8 of Cups, and the King of Cups. Ooh. Okay, so you definitely make decisions based on what you are feeling, right? You are trying to walk your, be as authentic as possible. You're walking your own path, and you might be considered like quite unique and different compared to the other people you know. Like I was saying before, I do think that there are other people that you hang out with that are as unique. You might be in like a creative field where you're allowed to be really experimental and it's sort of encouraged. So you're working in fashion, or you're a musician, or you're a photographer, or you work in hair, makeup, you're an actor. There's some leeway that you have there, and you got the Two of Cups, so that definitely indicates to me that there's other people that are doing the same thing, and you guys are all helping each other. The Eight of Cups, you've walked away from anything that doesn't serve you anymore. You aren't bothered by what other people are thinking. You just want to find justice, right? You want to be authentic. You're going to live your truth. You're going to be authentic and be very, I get the energy that you like to sort of push the boundaries, right? You're like, you don't want to play by the same old rules. You want to reinvent, redesign, define yourself, which I really love. Okay, so let's get a couple more cards, and I would like to know a little bit more about how you present your home. Like, what is your interior design like? I'm being guided back to this. I definitely get this sense that you might be really influenced by the element of water. I mean, even Elizabeth Taylor is holding this glass. I mean, it likely has liquor in it, but it looks like a water glass to me. And you may really like the fluidity of certain materials, or you like sort of the energy of water when it comes to your fashion. You might wear a lot of blues, or, you know, aquatic like green colors. That's strongly coming through. As far as your interior design goes, you got the Nine of Cups, the King of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. So this is indicating to me that you have a strong voice when it comes to your interior design. You have a vision, and you're very precise about what you want. You definitely want a lot of luxury when it comes to your home. You spare no expense is what I'm being told. So you will spend the extra money on the high thread count sheets. You want to have, you know, luxurious, comfortable pillows. I definitely get the feeling that you want comfort and luxury. So you spend the extra money to have, it's more than just the aesthetics too. Like, cause I'm seeing images of like beautiful bottles of wine and like charcuterie boards set up. Like, you enjoy having creative people around you. You like entertaining at home. You want, when people come to your home, that they feel like they're cared for, that it's a retreat for them. They feel like it's something special because you have this beautiful home and you're a wonderful host, and you spare no expense is the energy I'm getting. And I feel like you have been very successful in your life, and I think for many of you, you have the financial means to be able to indulge in these things. You've worked hard for what you have. But I also get the energy that for some of you, you are just very creative about how you create this luxury. You know, you may not have the kind of income that allows you to buy everything from high-end stores or buy everything new. You go out and you thrift, and you trade, and you know, create all of the things. Like, maybe you're creating some of your own clothes, or you've taken pottery classes and you're like making gorgeous plates and bowls and all of the, you know, table setting. You're creating that for yourself, and that's what allows you to have this sort of luxury and this unique feel. It'll be different for each of you, but you really feel at home and completely fulfilled by the sort of like the energy that you've created in your own home. Like it really feels like your own little kingdom. That is beautiful. So I'd like to get a couple more cards and find out some information about your personal brand. Just gonna move these over. So how does pile number 3 show their personal brand? What makes them stylish? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so first off, you've got the 7 of Swords. So when it comes to your personal brand, you also got the Hermit. So these 2 cards are indicating to me that you're a little bit secretive. You leave people guessing. So I do have a sense that a lot of this has to do with an online profile. Your social content is very well curated, and you are presenting an image of yourself that is reflective of this creation, is what they want me to say. So this character that you've created. Now I think that the people that know you and are close with you, that would be in your home, you know, sharing meals with you, they know who you really are. But then I get the sense that you might have fans or you have patrons and they don't know as much about you, and you are sort of elusive, secretive. You keep things exciting that way because you keep them guessing. And you are very theatrical, like I was saying before. You got the Priest, and I get the sense that you are reinventing yourself. You're creating new and interesting content. You're presenting yourself and your friends in new and inventive ways. You're really kind of one step ahead of everyone else. So when there are trends going on, you're sort of like at the front end of that. Like I would say you're an early adopter. You're like a trend setter and not so much a trend follower. And you are very funny and playful as well. Like people really enjoy the content that you're creating. You got the Knave of Wands. I think that you do weird things and people watch you as a result of that. Like, I think that in a way, some of your content online is sort of like performance art. You know, it is meant to be weird, or it's meant to be unique and different, and it just like catches people's attention. 2 examples are coming forward that you guys may or may not know. First off, there on TikTok, there is a creator who talks about Birkin bags, and his delivery is very unique to him. It's a little bit dry, but also a little bit playful, because you're not sure, is he serious? Is he aware that this is coming off as a little bit like sort of otherworldly to a certain degree? And there's also another creator that I follow on TikTok who is obsessed with tassels and does like the weirdest performance art with these like really wild outfits that he hand makes, and everything is like covered in tassels, and he looked like he like stepped out of a medieval tapestry. Both people are doing art on their terms and making content on their terms and crafting these like really interesting characters that I think are partially them and they're partially a creation, and they're both dramatically different, but they're so rooted in style. So that's what I'm driving at. It's like, you may not identify with either. You may have no idea the 2 people I'm talking about, and unfortunately I can't remember their names. But if anyone's interested, I'll put it in my comments tab, in my community tab. I'll link them so you know who I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is that I think that you have something unique and different. You're entertaining, you're also stylish, and it's like no one else is like you. And you, I think, really worked hard to get to this point. And there does feel like there's going to be some sort of transition and shift in this area of your life, your creative presentation when it comes to your online persona. You got the 10 of Wands. So you've worked really hard to get to where you are right now in terms of your branding. And if you don't have a social media presence, then this might be you have like your own business, and it has to do with like the branding that you have around that, or it is your own website with your resume. There's just something very like well curated that also leaves people guessing a little bit, and that is theatrical, which I really love. That is super, super exciting. So I want to get you guys some advice and find out from Spirit sort of like, how can you push this a little bit further? What's the next step for you in terms of your style and how you present yourself? Yeah, they're talking a lot about, like, my eye keeps being drawn to capes and drapes material. The Hermit is wearing a cape. King of Swords is wearing a cape. Oscar Wilde is wearing a cape. The Priest is wearing this long draping sort of tunic, and there's just a lot of that kind of imagery. So that might resonate for you. You might like to wear clothing that has like a lot of layers and draping. It could be something that's very bohemian and feminine and ethereal. It also could be sort of like a Japanese aesthetic, like Izzy Miyake. What would you like pile number 3 to know? How can they push their style to the next level? Okay, let's see here. So the first card you got is Bell Pepper. Encourage others. Versatile opportunities. Bladderwort. Small endings cannot be avoided. Daffodil. Beginnings and rebirth. Evening Primrose. Fickleness. Changeability. Hunting. Papaya. Healthy habits. Long life. And Tomato, love karma. Okay, so like I was saying with this 10 of Wands, there's a shift, there's a change that's about to take place for you. It may be a new opportunity, something that you weren't necessarily expecting. Like it may be a situation where all of a sudden you get seen, or all of a sudden your videos go viral and you gain a whole nother fan base. Like it has something to do with people appreciating you and really loving you, but at the same time that you're getting this step forward, it looks like that means that something else is going to have to end. Sometimes that's a matter of you finally get the success that you've been wanting, and then you have to sort of give up some of your anonymity. And you have to be like in the public eye all the time. And that can be sort of frustrating, especially if your part of your brand is sort of being secretive, or you enjoy that. Maybe you're sort of like an introvert and an extrovert at the same time, and you don't want to be out there in front of people all the time, or you don't want to be known for any one thing because that sort of like pins you down, and you want to be able to be in two worlds, right? You want to be able to say wear the structured suiting, but then you also want to be able to wear long flowing dresses, and you don't want to have to just do one thing. So from the looks of this, I think that you're going to be very happy with this transition. Like a shift for you that's for the better, that cannot be avoided because it's part of your life path, and it's taking you towards something that you've really been hunting for. Like, you've been wanting this, and you may be a little bit afraid. I just heard imposter syndrome. So maybe you're sort of, once you get what you've always been dreaming of, you might start to fear, one, that you can't do it, and the fear is rooted in the idea that you might lose it. You've been wanting this and now you have it, and it's like you just want to hang on to it, but nothing is permanent. You might lose whatever it is that you're going to be gaining, but if you lose it, it's only to give you something else, right? It's not, the universe never takes anything away from you only to give you something worse. Even if it feels like that's what's happening, ultimately, with enough time, you can see, hindsight is 2020, that it ends up being something better. You're going to be going through a brand new rebirth, and it's ultimately helping you to have a long life, healthy habits, and what it seems like you're going to be encouraging and helping other people to also be versatile and unique. Like, so this might be a situation where your social platform or your business takes off. Yeah, you're known, so people have expectations of you, right? They want you to look a certain way or do certain things, and that might feel a little stifling for you, but ultimately it exposes you to a brand new audience that really needs your help because you're much more free-spirited. And with this bear, you're a leader, so there's an energy here where you're meant to like show yourself and teach people how to be as free-spirited and carefree as you, to express themselves in every area of their lives. So this is beautiful. I hope that you guys enjoyed this reading. This was such a pleasure. If you did, please comment. I would love to know how it resonated for you. Like, share, that really helps me. If any of you guys are interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information are available there. I do tarot card readings live and recorded. I also do spiritual coaching, Reiki, past life readings, and I can channel messages from your spirit guides. So thank you once again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next reading. Take care.